I'm just going to have to talk right here. Right here sounds good, right?
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's loud.
Okay, well, you shouldn't be fucking mouthing the fucking mic.
But last time I was here, I talked like this, and this is loud.
Well, it's an awareness and a reminder that you need to
be on my toes.
No, show your face, because you hide your face if you're like behind the mic. Happy Sunday, you guys. Welcome back to Brunch with DESB, or really Brunch with Des and Wyatt P, I guess. I don't know. Today, yes. And potentially ever more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wait, I haven't talked to you about this? Yeah, I kind of have. About rebranding the podcast.
I mean, you've mentioned.
We've talked about it.
Potentially doing it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's coming to a head. I've talked about it like the past 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people are into it. They're like, yeah, bring them on. But we still want you by yourself sometimes. I'm like, no, don't get me wrong. It's my show still, but he just is co-starring every week.
Okay. It's our show. Or else I'm just not going to do it.
I know. It would be our show, but I would do maybe like a weekly like girl chat. Like once a month I would do like a Wednesday, me only or something.
It'd be a fun like 30-minute like power through 30 minutes, like catching up what's going on. What are the girlies talking about? Because we haven't talked girly stuff.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Like a quick 30-minute,
yeah.
Been dying to talk about this.
Yeah, because the one time we talked about hymens, you didn't even know what a hymen was. That's girl chat.
Yeah, but in my marketing business brain,
there's no such thing as a business hymen.
We need to pick a lane.
All right. Well, Wyatt and I are sipping on the brand new Orange Kiss.
It's awesome.
From Alani Nutrition. This is, in fact, replacing mimosa.
I don't remember mimosa tasting like this.
It's elevated for sure. But I mean, it's good. Mimosa was our only other flavor that was truly like a...
My headphones are on 1,000 volume.
Really?
Oh my God. It just keep going. At this point, I'll just take the hearing loss.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, cool. We've done worse nowadays.
It keeps the energy going. For me, it wakes me up, keeps me alive.
I said it tastes like if Sunkissed and Sunny D had a baby that was carbonated.
Actually, you might have nailed that.
I know.
Okay. Never mind.
I've taste tested a lot of stuff, Mm-hmm. So this is live. Honestly, it's probably sold out online. Like, let's be real. But it will hit retailers. It will hit everywhere. Just make sure if you shop online, you use code DESB because we don't have a lot of e-commerce sales anymore. And so what we do get, how we get supported is very limited, right? Like using my code, because they don't do a lot of, what is it? Not wholesale. E-commerce, I guess is just a word. So yeah.
My ADHD took over so hard.
I know. It's not ADHD at that point. It's a mental issue.
well. I just saw a spider hanging in the corner over there in his web. Not to out Des, but I mean, it's just a spider that looked like it's new there. And then I noticed how Des's nails matched her shirt. And I don't think she meant to do that, but it does match. And then you pick up the can and it also works with the can. My brain for the past 30 seconds went haywire.
The real thing about me is like, this is quite literally my aesthetic.
It is. It's
like, this is me.
Yeah, no, it is.
So,
I mean, show your pants.
Yeah. I'm wearing my pink pants.
So,
yeah, it is. I just can't. I am in a neutral era. Like, I have honored neutrals a little bit more ever since the Buff Bunny launch. So I was like, oh, like, these are nice. They don't scream for attention. But then the minute that I'm like, I need affirmation, I need my bright colors on,
right. Yeah, I need people to look at me.
I've always been that way, though. I was always wearing the crazy crew socks for like softball as a kid, or soccer. I would always have the brightest shin guard, shit like that, like whatever I could.
I bought my own helmet in high school.
Oh, you bought your own?
And my own shoulder pads. I was
with
the guy that.
What money?
My mom and dad.
Oh, so you didn't buy it?
Of course not.
Then come correct. My parents bought me.
I was a spoiled only child. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I think of that often, how different life would be as an only child. And like, your brain is so quite literally so different than mine.
Yeah.
And I don't even think you could be in a comprehend mine and mine to yours.
True.
Just from the sake of how having siblings morphs you even into an individual.
Oh yeah. Well, I think about it all the time in the sense of like, you have no idea. This sounds terrible, but like
You have no idea how depressed I am.
You're right, kind of, but no, not really. Like it just, luckily I have like a really, really close friend that is quite literally a brother to me. I have a couple of them. 2 of them
You're not sure. To them though.
But yes, I am. But like throughout my day to day, it's just me, like in my mind, you know what I mean? Like it's just me. It's just me doing my thing. I got, my mom and dad, of course, but other than that, it's just like, yeah, that's it. I don't have like a sister or brother or a family group chat sitting there on my phone every day. I'm just vibing every day. Just me.
Yeah, that's so wild.
It is weird.
Not that I even talk to my family like all day, every day, but we'll exchange some texts.
But that's my point is like, if you were in my position, you would feel that like, this is a little weird. You got a little extra, just you're by yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Freaky Friday is coming out with the sequel. Maybe they'll play off the idea of siblings versus not. Yeah, they are. I know. I'm like 25 years later.
That's pretty sweet. I'm into it.
I know. Me too. But it is with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lynn Curtis.
I was just about to ask
Jamie Curtis or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny.
I don't know how they're going to spin it, but yeah, they are. So anyways, how are you? Oh my gosh. We only have like 2 episodes left in this room.
I know. I'm good though. Thank you.
I was just looking at the background. Did not care. I was looking at you in the background.
Just didn't care.
Sorry.
See?
Sorry.
Only child. There you go.
That's very true.
Whatever.
That's very true.
Nobody really cares.
Well, how are you?
I'm good. Back's feeling better.
Yeah, that's good. You did whip it out of shape.
Yeah, very boring to talk about, but threw out my back. Squatting. That sucked, especially because it was exactly a week before we were like moving.
At least starting to like pack.
That was a week from yesterday, actually. Threw it out and I was scared. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do anything, but now I'm feeling better. So that's probably the biggest development right now.
Besides us moving.
Yeah.
Which we have gotten a lot done. We've just been, once we got the dumpster here, and it was funny, I talked last week, I told him, I was like, listen, we're not recycling. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it can't happen when in these situations. And I kind of played around with it. You do what you can, right? But we made a joke. Anyways, point being, once the dumpster showed up, I feel like a lot of what we had been waiting for was able to get done. So it's slowly looking like a home that's being moved out of.
Yeah, it's actually empty, and I thought of this. And
besides the boys' rooms, like they still look kind of
well. I mean, I'm
normal.
Looking this way, and it looks like a mess, but that's also
don't look
to
over
be
there.
determined. Shoot, I don't even know what I was gonna say.
You were looking around yesterday. It's just bare.
Oh yeah, our guest room.
The desk room. Usually that's a shithole.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We like almost use that as like a storage room because we just had so much stuff. We didn't really know what to do with it.
Bad idea.
So we just used it as almost a storage room. We just never really tidied it up. And if you look at it now, you're like, oh, this looks like, it doesn't look like you guys are moving. It just looks like a clean room. It's like, no, it looks like we're moving, dude. It's been cluttered.
It's always cluttered.
Years.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's always where I would try to do my try-on hauls and this and that and this and that. And then, but like the lighting always sucked. There was never any natural light because like the trees are out that way. It was just always like, okay, just kidding, you know.
It turned into a joke with your mom and my mom to both be like, yeah, I always have to clear off my bed before I stay here.
It's so true. Like, sorry, guys.
Whoops.
So yeah, we're still in the process of that, but we definitely, our days are for sure numbered here. I'm just hoping that whoever ends up coming in and moving into our home that we did love so much doesn't fuck up this room. Like I hope it's
they're painting the shit out of this room.
No. I'm really manifesting that there's going to be like a daughter, a teenager, a family that comes in and maybe even just a playroom for like girls. But I really hope it's a family that like has girls because this would be so fun.
Yeah.
To have.
Especially this room. Because
this room in general.
Podcast room, it's really weird. I don't even know how to describe it.
It's like a what would be technically probably a closet built off, but it almost just got built on. I don't know how to explain it.
Right 5 feet this way is the bedroom through like a little doorway. But the doorway, there's no door. And it's not meant to have a door there. It's like thick walls. So it's almost like a auxiliary room to the bedroom.
Also, it could be a kick-ass closet.
It'd be a closet, a little like hangout, put a couch and a TV in here, and it's pretty cool. But it's kind of a weird setup. Yeah.
Also, by the way, it's funny. My mom just messaged me. She's like, it kicked me out of my Facebook. Am I hacked? I think like Meta is down right now, like all of it.
Dude, phones. Are we gonna talk about this? Like
I don't know what we were supposed to talk about.
The news we're talking about China.
Oh, that weird solar flare that they're trying to say was a solar flare or some shit.
I've seen both things. I've seen people talk about it being cyber attacks, like from China over the years of infiltrating whatever. I don't know. I just saw like headlines and started listening a little bit, but then forgot about it. But then in these past like 2 weeks, my phone has like not worked normally. And you've heard me complain about it. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? Is anybody else having their phone just completely not work randomly at times? Like,
yeah, we'll have to do some data.
Stop working.
We'll have to do some data. Let us know.
Yeah.
Are you having phone issues?
We're experimenting. We have an experiment, a thesis statement, and
It could also just be Apple being like, go buy a new phone. Haha, fucker.
Oh, yeah, I could be at that point. That is true.
It could be.
I'm at the lifeline where Apple sends the virus for my phone to stop working, so I get a new one.
So you have to go get another one. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yep.
Okay, well, we are going to jump into a few stories I just wanted to cover with you because it's kind of funny. Jason Kelce.
Not funny.
Retiring. Well, not funny. It's just you're on, so you can speak to it. Jason Kelce announces his retirement from the Eagles in a 45-minute departure on TV.
He cried for
really? It felt like longer than that.
No, I'm saying. He probably cried the whole thing. I'm just saying collectively of him sitting there not saying anything.
Oh,
sobbing,
sure, like actually not being able to speak.
It was like almost half of it.
Yes.
It was powerful. We listened to like what, 15 minutes
probably
of it or so?
Yeah, so Jason Kelce is officially retired. He played for, was it 13 years? Yes, 13 years.
I honestly don't know that.
And he had a very emotional departure, which if you're a Philadelphia Eagle I'm sure you had just as an emotional departure. It seems like he just did a ton for his community, and he had so much pride in where he was representing, and I don't know, he just seems like great. I was like, you know what, Kelce, I've only known you really like 2 seasons, but love you.
Exactly. I was about
he
to
is
say.
the guy that you just love right away, though. He just seems like
100%.
He's like a Will Ferrell of football to me. Just a kind guy, kind of funny, witty,
down to earth dude.
He has a smoker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he
100%.
owns a smoker, and he makes his own meat.
The Pat McAfee show, you see me watch it a lot, but he said it the best in the sense of like he came into the limelight because of Travis Kelce, because of Taylor Swift a lot in the past year, but also the year prior with being Travis Kelce's brother, their new podcast, which whatever.
Well, and when they were both in the Super Bowl, like,
right. Yeah, of course, that blew up. Donna, Kelce,
yeah,
everything blew up for him. But Pat McAfee said it the best in the sense of like, I'm so glad that he was the one that got to be in that limelight because he is a perfect person and ambassador for what it means to be a human being playing professional sports, representing the NFL, representing the football. The sport of football, representing just being a good person, dad, husband, brother, family man. He's an awesome all-around person. He said it the best way. It was just like, we are lucky that he was the one that got put in that position because he took it and ran with it. And
he was like
he's
just
a great
responsible guy.
Yeah. He's awesome.
He seemed great. And so that was sad to see. And especially for like longtime football watchers, I mean, that's a pretty intense goodbye, for a long period of time. So who knows what he's going to do next? Obviously continuing to cheer on his brother. He'll be there. He'll be around. He's got his kids. He's got his family.
Gives me goosebumps thinking about that
He's
stuff.
in his best life now. But I told Wyatt yesterday, it's just crazy to think he's been probably playing football since he was 4, 5, and it's officially, you don't just go on a field and like play, like we could go play recreational volleyball if we wanted to, or basketball, but like you don't just go out and like play football with people. So it's a pretty detrimental, like, you're done.
Detrimental. You're done.
Well, like for him, for how much life he's lived doing it, it's like, goodbye.
Oh yeah.
Go pick up golf.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's lucky enough, obviously, to have done it as a career to where he's a mature, grown man, to where he has a family and he has a way to kind of transition. But, I mean,
NCAA athletes get fucked.
Yeah, but that was my point is like, it doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah.
It makes it just as tough as you saw in his retirement video.
It's like, can we like wean off of playing? Like maybe every other game and then one game and then
suck. That'd
1 hour and then one play.
But that's why they retire.
I know.
You're still putting in all that work and practice.
I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks. Thank you for your service.
Thanks, Jason.
To the NFL. Laying low. Alaia Baldwin, which is Hailey Bieber's sister, keeps a low profile after arrest for throwing a used tampon at a bartender. Hailey Bieber's sister kept a low profile and sunglasses, a beanie, pink Crocs, and a large coat while strolling LA with her husband and their now 3-year-old Iris.
What a weird headline to say.
Page 6 confirmed Friday that Alaia, sorry, I don't know.
Alaia?
Alaia. Alaia?
Alaia.
31. Was arrested after she allegedly threw a used tampon at a female bartender who worked at Club Elan in Savannah after she was seen throwing up in the bathroom. The model also allegedly tore a chunk of hair out of one bouncer's head and striked another one in the genitals. So, sending hugs. I thought that was such a funny story because I have had in my past a used tampon experience. And so it just kind of triggered me to be like, imagine that being thrown at you.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
I mean,
also, like, what the fuck are you doing to, like, do you rip? Did she rip and whip?
That's what I want to talk about.
Did she rip it and whip it?
That's what I want to talk about. Did she, in the moment, get so heated fucking mad being hammered, decide in that moment to go in her pants, pull it out and throw it? Or did she stew on how mad she was, go into the bathroom, take it out, and premeditate the throw?
Here's the thing. Here's what I think happened.
Funny.
Bartender, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened. She's at the club. The bartender's denying giving her any more drinks. Hey, girl, you're kind of done. You're fucked up.
I'll be the bartender.
Okay.
I'll be the bartender.
Can I have another motherfucking drink, bitch?
No, sorry, honey, I'm busy. I'll get you something real quick. I'll be right back.
I'm running to the bathroom because I'm starting to puke. Fuck you.
I'd be like,
as I'm profusely vomiting.
Hey, bouncer, keep an eye on her.
As I'm profusely vomiting in the bathroom, naturally your vagina flexes. Your tampon's coming out organically.
Actually?
Like, yeah, like when you're like you're pushing your pelvic floor down.
Well, yeah,
it's releasing the tampon's coming out.
But I didn't
know
that.
So it's slipping out, right? And she's like, you know what? Fuck this bitch. Wipes her fucking mouth, takes it out, and then goes up to the bartender and says, I don't want another drink. And then gets arrested. I think that sounds pretty on point.
Get her the fuck out.
Get her the fuck out of here.
That's what the bartender said. Sure.
That's wild. I just had to share. I thought that story was...
It's very funny.
Nutso. Also, this was nutso too. Ghislaine Maxwell looks great as she runs Florida prison's half marathon, does yoga and Pilates ahead of her March appeal. Ghislaine Maxwell was photographed jogging behind bars in Florida recently. We hear the British socialite turned inmate was actually running in her prison's official half marathon. The race at the barbed wire encircled Federal Correctional Institution of Tallahassee included 19 inmates who ran 52 times around the prison's track to cover 13.1 miles. No word on Maxwell's time or if she made the podium. So then obviously she is starting to be...
Are we bored?
I know. She's having an appeal here soon. The attorney stated she looked great. She really did. Typically my clients who are incarcerated for an extended period of time gain a lot of weight. Their diet in prison is primarily carbohydrates. Maxwell, though, is running around the track in a gray sweatsuit, serving 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. Even as a visitor, going to prison is terrifying, said Alaia, who recently met with Maxwell for 6 hours to discuss her appeal. So she's obviously in a trail of paperwork to bring it to the March hearing in front of the U.S. Court of Appeals, Second Circuit. The session will only take about a half hour when 3 judges will hear arguments from Maxwell's legal team if her case should be tossed, saying she didn't receive a fair trial. In the meantime, she's been helping women in prison who have been less fortunate. So she's
buying her way out. She's buying sympathy or something. But regardless, all I can think about is the
coverage of a half marathon.
Well, that's insane. That's a whole nother thing. But then the lawyer coming up to the cameras, yep, Ghislaine, she's doing great. She just crushed about an 8-minute pace for the past 10 miles. So I'm really proud of her. But if she doesn't make it at the hour and a half mark, yeah, she fucking did it. So she better fucking hurry up. It's like, yep, she's crushing an 8-minute pace right now. Keep it up, honey.
How has she not been? I mean, I'm assuming she's in a decent institutional correction center. Like, let's be honest. But regardless, like, you still have some heathens in there. How has she not been like battered when Jeff Epstein was killed?
I mean,
I stand by that still. Well, I don't think
that's when you're getting into the political and you have to be then labeled a conspiracy theorist because you have to think about it because it's not that simple. And if you think about it, then you're labeled as a conspiracy theorist.
I'm just saying out loud. I'm like, how do you kill yourself in prison like that? That to me, it just doesn't seem, politics aside, just doesn't seem fathomable. So regardless, my point is, how has she not gotten the chair yet or taken it herself?
Yeah, I mean,
it's shocking.
Again, yeah,
it's shocking that she's choosing to run half marathons instead of hang herself.
Gotta stay fit.
Sorry. That was dark.
That was dark.
She's just got a lot ahead of her.
No pun intended.
Jesus. So that was, again, just a funny.
Dicey topic choice right there.
Sorry. Not sorry. It's my podcast for a reason.
Yep. Not for long, though.
True.
Now everything has to.
Okay, last story, because this is just, it's just funny to me, and I know you'll have something to say.
Okay.
Remy Bader.
Who's that?
She is a self-love, body positivity creator.
Okay.
She was dumped by her boyfriend via text message after 2 years of dating, and she immediately ran to post it to TikTok. Mind you, she has like millions and millions of followers, right?
Okay.
The story itself, shitty, right? Sorry that you got broken up with, that it was over text, whatever. It's the auto response of people not texting a friend, not calming down,
to go TikTok,
not calling your mom, but getting on TikTok to make a crying post that you then immediately regret, you delete. But guess what? Thousands of people have already seen it within a minute because of like your status.
So many thoughts that go through my head on this. So many, like to the point where it's kind of hard to even process one of them, because so much of that goes into my mind of like, what if that was my kid? You know, like what was the upbringing in that? Like, what is the disassociation that you have with the world to go straight to social media?
Yeah, this was her post. It was her crying. I'm assuming it was just a music. When he says doing it over text is easier for him than doing it in person almost 2 years together. Yeah,
I mean, there's no way around. I'm definitely not going to excuse.
No, it's fucked. That's embarrassing. Well, also I think they're in their mid to late 20s. Like, grow up.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Grow up.
You stop texting breakups in high school.
Yeah, no, like that's embarrassing.
Like that, you're done. Like that's dumb.
Yeah.
But still, like I get everybody reacts to shit differently, but to air anything on social media,
Make a sit down video, because you do owe it to your audience, right? Because they're going to be like, where is he?
Yeah, sure.
That's fair.
But give it a couple weeks
or like a day, even like just give it an hour.
Yeah.
Just
right.
Let it sink in.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
and maybe just address it like, hey, we're not together. Thank you all for all the support through the years.
Yeah. Cause it's sad.
On to better things.
Yeah, it's sad because it's like, who knows what actually was going on in that relationship.
Sure.
Now everybody's going to jump to a conclusion.
Oh, sure.
Because he did do the wrong thing in texting.
And then
but how
she
bad was
posted
their actual relationship? And now this guy gets under fire for it, when who knows what was actually going on. And maybe I'm not going to say maybe she was the issue, being a man, but I'm just saying the other party playing
just a dynamic.
You just never know. And so it's just so sad that it's like, he might have actually cared for you, and he genuinely was too immature to understand how to process his own emotions, so he texted you.
Yeah.
And now you blast him, and now he looks like shit, and he feels like shit. And it's like, you also cared for that person, and now you're making them look terrible in the public eye with the amount of
following. It's just a wild thing to do immediately.
Yeah. Well, it makes him texting you quite literally, now you're even. Now there's nobody in the wrong. You both suck.
You both suck.
Like that's like
yeah. I just think it's interesting. Like social media has continued to like morph and change so much, and to just have that be your first response. Like I have really learned even within myself, like if I'm bothered by something for like whatever reason, I used to kind of post immediately.
Oh, not kind of. No offense, but
I had my fair share of just the immediate comeback, the immediate response, the immediate thoughts, the immediate feedback. Because I felt like I always had to be so quick to take a stance or say something or whatever.
And we learned this in the past year, I would say.
Well, I would say a couple years, 2 years, at least 2 to 3 years.
I would say in the past year, you've been able to apply it with like a logical, like accepting of it.
Yeah, I'm just like, this isn't going to change anything.
Yeah, right.
Or like if I'm upset or bothered, we're all allowed to be. I'm going to share that in the intimacy of my relationship with my husband or my sister or my mom or whatever.
Somebody you have trust in.
And that's all I need to do. And guess what? Then it's like off my chest, or I'm going to go to my therapy appointment. I'm going to share it and I'm good. I don't have to post it now. Right. So it's just funny to see people immediately hop into a fight or flight, and they're flight or whatever is to fucking share it on TikTok.
Fight or flight. Okay. That goes back to that one video I saw. It's just like people, I won't even get into the TikTok because it's dumb to try to describe one.
Oh my God, your stupid smelling salts.
Yeah, but the comment is just people's flight responses just never make any sense.
Yeah, like people are so very interested, and everyone's different. There is no
so different
way to do it. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that is hilarious. But at the same time, like you both look bad now.
I know. Crazy. So there's just a few quick stories I wanted to get your thoughts on and share. So
what's next?
Before we get into watches, quick reminder. Number 1, book your therapy appointment. It is that time of year. The sun's coming out.
I feel like that.
We're starting to feel horny. What?
Yeah. Whoa. Well, yeah. Okay. We're there.
A little bit of both. We're starting to feel horny for summer is what I'm saying.
Yes.
We're like dripping at the fact that it's
like
nice.
The depression's leaking off of us.
Pheromones are coming off the trees and you like just want to go hump a tree. So we're feeling all these vibes, but that doesn't mean that you're okay up here. You know, it doesn't, sunshine doesn't just take away the trauma we've just went through of 5 months of the greatest, darkest time in the Midwest. You know, we got to heal. So book your therapy appointment, go to betterhelp.com/DESB, use code DESB for 10% off your first month. Support the podcast, support your fucking self, support your spouse, support those around you, right? It's an investment for you, but it's also an investment for your peers.
Yeah, I would agree. It's something that I still have not pulled the trigger on, but I will say it's something that I've thought of so much in terms of just being able to know myself better, right?
Yeah.
Just having somebody help digest my own thoughts, right?
I've always had siblings to tell me, you're a bitch, you know, like, so I know.
I've only
you don't have anyone.
I've only had my
your best
closest friend say, stop being a pussy. That's it. So,
tell me you were raised by a woman.
I kind of was.
But therapy's great. And you deserve to be great. So go to therapy. New membership workouts are live for the BFit membership. You can join today using the code brunchwithdesb, $10 off your first month. We have brand new workouts, March themed. We went Y2K, kind of like one of our workouts is called Flip Phone Flex. It was fun looking up like old 90s and like early 2000s stuff. So we went Y2K vibes, and we have our next 6 weeks of shreds challenge opening April 7th. So Wyatt always loves doing this one with me. He likes doing all my challenges with me pretty much, but specifically shreds. The sun's out, guns out. Again, we're just feeling good in this spring. New Year's challenges are fun, but like spring, summer,
well, yeah,
chef's kiss.
Your life's feeling a little bit more.
You're just lighter. You're lighter. You're more together. You feel good. So make sure that you turn notifications on to join that.
Yeah, and the idea of bikini season rings louder.
That's so true. I mean, it is our fat loss challenge. So like if you're trying to get some fat off transparently, this is your place to be, you know? Actually. Yeah. I was going to say something else, but no. Okay.
Don't need to.
Lastly, new Paragon launched last week. Not my favorite. It sucks because it is my favorite fucking collection. It's everything I've ever wanted, but it's not my favorite because like all the rec stretch shit is sheer. And I have a butt tat, so it's a little bit different for me than maybe the typical consumer who can like hide behind just like pale skin or like skin underneath their leggings where it's not super noticeable. But number one, you can't wear underwear with these. And number two, it's still at risk for like something to pop through.
Yeah.
And even Wyatt, I was bent over. I was like, can you see my ass? He's like, yeah.
No.
Take it for what it is. Buff Bunny launched a few weeks ago, the boyfriend collection. There's still a lot of stuff in stock. And probably was one of my favorite collections, neutral collections in a while. So shop code DESB for 10% off. Wyatt really liked me in the jumpsuit, the bodysuit.
Oh, yeah. The bodysuits are sweet. I actually love those. I think those are such a cool.
I know. I think it's a look in the gym. It just sucks when you have to pee. You're nude in the stall.
Or pregnant because constricts you.
Yeah, it does. But it does look good.
Yeah.
Lastly, we do have new Petula on the way. I don't think by this point I can share anything, but I will say it's something that's been in Z-Works for at least a year and a half. And I've been with Petula since 2018. My first partnership with them was in Florida. I would only do like try-on hauls and stuff for YouTube. Officially became an affiliate in the beginning of 2021. So I've been around, to test all their shit. And it's big. Okay. All right. On to watches, because I know Wyatt's going to want to talk about this too. First off, I watched Without Him on Netflix. Can I tell you a secret? Very disturbing reality of people taking your identity and applying it online. Meaning, it was a pulse check of what we have created and what we will quite literally never escape with social media and with the internet, where people can take your photo and pretend to be you. And in this case, someone was taking multiple women's photos, pretending to be them and posing as them, but to quite literally their employers, their family, people around them, their best friends. And it was a
Didn't I watch this with you?
You started watching the first episode. I finished it.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things was crazy because they were...
Oh, with the telephone wires?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They got to the point where like one of the girls, he was posing as one of the girls who was in a girl's wedding. So this fake person, he got, pretending to be her, the groom to call off the wedding because he meaning, quote, her in the eyes of the bride, got him, the groom, to believe that she was cheating on him, etc. But like it wasn't her. You know, she's like, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
So it's like a stalker situation.
It was a stalker situation.
That
yes.
infiltrates like online, takes over people to ruin their life to like, fuck you.
But also like, we see it on Tinder all the time. People using photos, catfishing, etc. So it's like, it was just a reminder of, there's quite literally nothing we can do. Like there's not. We all have a digital footprint at this point. And it is what it is. I think it's maybe just to be more hyper vigilant and be monitoring those things when you can. And if anyone ever gets a goofy message, like do something about it right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also in some of these documentaries, there's not shit you can do.
I know. It was very hard for them to create like a court case
yeah.
But it was really good to watch. It was kind of scary.
Just Godspeed, really. Hey, just good luck out there. You got it.
That's really what it came down to.
Just hope you don't run into them.
I was like, why did they make this documentary? At the end of the day, it was just kind of be like, hey, look what you created. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, and also look how you can do it.
Yep.
That's also the funny thing.
Hey, here's an idea for anyone fucking psycho out there watching with a $10 a month Netflix subscription.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what Netflix has to do with this. Oh.
The show's on Netflix, dumbass.
I made the connection as I asked it.
Okay, next one, Masters of the Air. We did talk about this, why it's horned up from this. We did talk about this last week. I was telling him how all the men are just so attractive in the 40s. Like 40s, 50s. It's such a look. It's the airmen specifically. Like it's just such a specific look.
It's definitely what started like just pilots being a sexy thing.
Yeah,
like just
which is
the
funny.
Look, the flying an aircraft like that up in the air. Like back then that's scary as fuck.
Oh my God, yeah.
And like very admirable to do. So it's like it definitely set the baseline of like what it means to be a pilot. But yeah, the dudes in there are hot.
They're so hot. and I'm not someone to really always like talk about men as like, oh, they're hot. Like, I don't like that term. I usually always say like handsome, but they do have a different ring to them.
Yeah. But hairstyles are kind of what you have seen in the past, like 5 years.
I was going to say, it's funny how history does repeat itself because everything is very similar. Yep. Yeah. Minus some of the actual like outfits, you don't see people wearing like leather stuff like that, but history does repeat itself in terms of like looks, and we're kind of in that space right now.
I was talking to Des during the series of how crazy it is, like watching it and thinking it's really like that is us. Just it happened to be 80 years ago.
Where
like,
they're
there's
just
zero difference. It's just a little bit different of a culture.
Yeah, they're just exposed to different things that we were. Like we would be the same them if that's all we had too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not that crazy to think they're so different. It's like they're not at all.
No.
So like that's what
we would meet them today and maybe be like, oh, you're a little bit more mature. Like you seem more mature.
Oh, for sure.
But that's pretty much it.
Because they didn't have TikTok. They didn't have fucking apology videos. People crying at them, telling them what to think. Yeah.
Yeah. I am so sorry. I actually watched a funny TikTok. They're everywhere, but like the compilations of just YouTuber apologies, and it's just the first 5 seconds. Yes, it's literally all the YouTubers just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It's fucking hilarious. Last one. Oh, well, first off, just Master of the Year. You guys have to watch it. I don't want to ruin it yet because like every week comes out like a new episode.
There's 2 episodes left.
There's 2 left.
There's 9 parts, about an hour each part. It's so good. It's one of those things where it has action. You don't have to be like, I don't want to watch a war movie. Mm-hmm. It's like when you watch it, it's so historically accurate. I'm a nerd about this stuff, so I like to watch the details behind the scenes and where the story came from and all that type of stuff. But basically, it's so detailed and basically to the point where when you're watching it, what you're seeing is as historically correct is they have the ability to make it. So it's fascinating to, again, put yourselves in the position of these 20 to 22, 18, 19, 20, 25-year-olds up there flying these planes in war, getting shot at by
Well, it's like they don't even have the pilot training that we have now.
No.
Like they're just like, go fucking figure it out.
Well, especially later in the war because people kept dying. So it's
right,
like,
they had to just become pilots overnight.
It's crazy. So it's like, again, when you think of it in the sense of like, these are real people that had to deal with this and this actually happened. That's when like the lens
in real
of like
families
a war movie
that are still affected. Like some people are like, that was my great great grandpa.
Yeah.
Who did that? You know, like these are still families and generations that, you know, continue to exist.
It's very fascinating. It's very historically pretty correct. So it's good. It's very good. It's chilling. It's a drama is what they call it. So it's not labeled as like an action. It's labeled as a drama. It's very good.
Who do you think's the hottest?
Callum, for sure. I told you that.
Or like Buck. Wait, is he Bucky?
He's Bucky.
Bucky.
Yeah.
Callum. Callum Turner.
Yeah, he's a good looking dude.
Yeah, he's a hottie. He's got a
young but handsome older.
Yeah,
it's hard to describe.
He's a mature look. I wonder. Like him a lot. I wonder what else he has been in. Okay, last one we'll talk about is Love is Blind. So as of right now,
I can't believe I'm watching this. By the way, I like it. It's so
the
crazy.
Finale is this week. So by the time you're watching this, finale's already aired. So I cannot wait to recap that next episode. But what have you thought about Love is Blind? Because you haven't really watched another season with me, have you?
No.
Yeah, I don't think you've really got like delve into it.
I am as stereotypical as it gets when it comes to being a guy and watching this stuff. I hate it. You know, like the reality shit you can't stand. I've never liked
even
it.
Bachelor. You're always like,
it's because they get into these soft like conversations. I'm not saying that of like, oh, I don't have those. It's like it's more of just
you need therapy.
You can just that it's scripted, not scripted, but it's produced to have these conversations, and they're meant to have these cheesy things of like, oh, they're the best person in my life, and you're like, no, they're not. And so I'm sitting there watching it. I get on my phone at times.
Sidebar, sorry. The only reason they say that though is because everything's stripped from them. So imagine the raw emotion you would be if you didn't have your phone, if you weren't.
That's my
point.
It's
funny that like the conversations are so real because they have nothing else, and they're like, you're everything to me. They have no reality.
Right, but that's my point. Yeah. It's like you're watching this, you're like, no, they're not, and you know it, but it's fine. You can convince yourself.
Go off.
But yes, I think my thoughts are that it's very funny. It's comical sadly to their expense. This seems like the biggest Love is Blind season, at least in terms of how many people I see watching it. I even have friends watching it with their wives. So we're talking about it. So I feel like that's actually crazy that it's as big as it is, but it's funny, dude. I mean, the people on their high horses, there's times when you're like, man, this person has it figured out. And then you sit on that episode a second and you're like, what the fuck were they doing? Like the dude on his phone, Nathan, the one that looks like Chooks.
Oh yes. His name is Kenneth. Or Ken.
Yeah. Like again, the whole time I'm like, I'm on this guy's side. This guy gets it. But then as the episode was over, I'm like, wait a second.
Well, the thing with that, actually, I listened to Jess. Jess was on the Vile Files, and she spoke about that situation. And she said that actually Brittany and Ken had already had this conversation that it wasn't going to work. But the cameras made them re-record it. So it's at the end of the night. Ken doesn't want to fucking talk about it. They've already talked about it. So they had to almost relive a scenario.
Oh, well, then that changes
but again, the way they edit it. Yeah. Makes it look different too at his expense. But also that's what you sign up for. So fucking sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird.
Like, sorry.
You can't imagine. I can't imagine anybody stepping into these series. What's his name? Jimmy. He says it all the time in the show of like, I signed up for this. I signed up for the experiment. I want to keep going through it. And so it's like,
sure you do.
Exactly. But it's like, no, you fucking
Stop
don't.
Looking at me.
Please fucking run from her, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, Chelsea is, dude, she is a motherfucking train wreck. And it breaks my heart because I'm sure in real life, I bet you she's a nice girlie.
We talked about it.
But the only assumptions of character we have to go off of is what they have built.
Producers cut.
And what they decide.
Yeah.
And that is very sad, but that's all we're speaking to. So again, I'm sure she's a lovely girl on the outside. But here we're judging here for
what we saw
and the only information
what everybody
we have.
saw, and holy shit.
You're kind of out of frame.
Oh, hey guys, sorry.
Like you're just leaning back. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so Wyatt's been watching it with me.
It's good.
Loved it. The only thing I'm worried about is like, this has been a great season. Like it's been just a pretty good cast, decent people. And like, I'm just upset to know that maybe next season won't be as good.
Jeremy and Laura are hilarious.
Oh my God. That was so toxic.
Dude was riding on a jet ski.
No one was in the right there.
Nobody. No. He fucked it up and he knew it. You could tell. He was talking to his mom and you knew he fucked up. But Laura's handling of it, I remember when she was yelling at him on the beach, which since they didn't talk for like 3 days, and again, spoiler alert, sorry if you haven't gotten this far.
Go watch it, get over it.
But when they're talking on the beach, you know, and she's ripping him a new asshole, they haven't talked for 3 days.
She ripped.
You said it, and I 100% agreed. She has every right to lay into, no doubt.
Yeah, she's like not happy.
The shit she was saying,
it was weird.
I'm in Jeremy's position, and I knew I fucked up, and I knew I wanted to try, and I sent flowers, whether it was the right move or whatever, and then I'm getting yelled at the way I'm getting yelled at. That's when right then and there I'm like, okay, shut the fuck up, I'm done.
You know,
like, I tried. I've known you for like 3 weeks. You don't get to talk to me. I don't care that we're engaged. I've known you for 3 fucking weeks.
She definitely,
you know what I mean?
She definitely pulled out some like metaphors, like trying to be like funny, you know, or like memorable, and it just like didn't land well.
So again,
like Jess, she was like, you're gonna need your EpiPen and you're gonna choke. Like that landed perfectly. It was like Laura tried, obviously without Laura knowing Jess said that, tried to like do something like that, and it just like didn't hit the same.
It came off bad.
So felt bad for her. But I'm anxious for the finales. I feel like,
who are you rooting for?
I mean, Johnny and Amy.
I mean, they're a shoe-in. I love them.
They're both equally weird. Like
they remind you of any college
I feel like they are a Disney couple.
Yeah.
They are the couple you would see in Disney wearing the ears.
That's actually really good. No, I picture them in like a Disney movie.
And that too, but they're just like in bliss. Like there's like, life is just so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could. Ignorance is bliss. Like, come on.
It's just funny because it just like, they're such a college together couple.
But they're like older.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. They're the Disney adults.
But it's like their biggest problem is birth control. Like that's what makes it so funny. It's
like,
I know. Good for you guys. You're like, so naive, and that's great. That's great that you're just naively in love. That you're only worried about that.
Yeah,
like,
it's just totally the it's just their mentalities, which good for them. Whatever. So love them. I feel like in overall, I am rooting for Clay and AD because I think they could make it work. He has this thought process in his head that like cheating is genetic. And it's a really weird thing. I can see though where he's very scared because in his life of upbringing and the black men that have been around him, he has said that they have not been good black men. That's how he kind of said it to AD. Like they haven't been faithful black men to show him how to be a strong black man. However, he kind of like used it at dinner. So I can see his expression of fear. But I just hope that.
I think he's using that because to me, I think he's actually genuinely worried about
commitment.
Yeah. Because he's so committed to his business. He's committed to himself. That fear is something I feel like he's holding on to cover up for his fear of commitment.
Yeah.
Of like, it's not that he wants to cheat. I think or that he thinks he's going to. I think that it's the fact that he knows he's going to be tied to this person forever, but then also has his own entrepreneur thing that he's very passionate about that he doesn't know if he wants anything to get in the way.
He's like more worried about cheating on his business.
Yeah, right.
Not with like another girl, but like actually just not being able to succeed in his goals there. Which I don't know. So we'll see. I don't want to talk too much more about it. Again, like this is like long gone by the time the finales are out. But I'm pretty anxious for it. So yeah, sorry if we just.
Those were my thoughts.
Yeah, sorry.
I guess you guys might want to hear
You deserved that.
That's fair.
So that's kind of all for our watches. We have really just mostly.
I thought you said we had an advice something.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was just our.
Okay.
Okay. I have to just pull it up. That was just our watches column.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm new here.
Are you new here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, glow.
Stop looking at me with those eyes. Fucking TikTok trend is hilarious.
My new favorite trend is the Glorilla one. I just showed one to Des, but I kind of want to do it. It's funny.
How would we even do it?
We just do it how everybody else is doing. Just stand there. You just say, yeah, glow, and I sit there and rap it. And it's a female rapper, so it's hilarious. these pussies stale, ho. Yeah, glow. Yeah.
These pussies stale, bro.
Ho. These hoes is stale, ho. Something like that.
What is a stale pussy?
Don't know.
Like not getting any attention, like dry Sahara.
Yeah, probably a few different ways.
Crusty.
Gross.
Okay.
Smelly.
Not all vaginas smell good. That's actually science.
But yeah, so it's not wrong to say that they exist.
True. Okay. How do you go about talking about engagement with your boyfriend? We've been dating for 2 years and moving in together in October. We've talked about engagement in the future sense, but never a serious manner. How do you bring that up? Sincerely, hopefully, future stay-at-home mom, but with no kids.
Well, I mean, my first thought is...
Wyatt was annoyed with me.
Yeah, mine was more so like, hey, stop asking. I just got a job out of college. So it's like, it was a little different of a dynamic. I had been
graduated for 2 years, so it felt a little different for me.
Yeah, it's a little different dynamic also with your family and the whole like living with each other prior to marriage. It was a little bit more conservative on that side, which, I didn't really think about or have to think about until you started mentioning it. And, obviously I wanted to be respectful of that. So that played a role for me, but I would say it's just, there's not really a conversation to have to me. It's like, if you talk about it and you talk about your future, that's probably the conversation.
Right, like it will
just
come.
Understanding where each other are at in terms of goals, your relationship, like what do you want out of each other? What do you want in the future? Do you want kids? Like just making sure you have the future details, like kind of just hashed out. From there, it's like, if you guys know you're living together, you're probably going to get married. It's like, I can tell you right now, the guy's going to have plenty of people fucking asking him, especially his closest friends. The amount of times with some of our...
When are you going to propose? When are you going to...
Yeah,
what's going to happen?
All of my closest friends are married. The last one of my closest just got engaged recently in this past year. And leading up to that, I mean, it was a bombardment.
Right.
Just like, oh, is that your wife? I mean, sorry, Tyler, you're too much of a pussy. You haven't done anything yet.
Right.
It's like, it's just random shit like that. Happen. So they'll hear it enough.
I will say though, from a woman's side, like we sometimes like a little bit more directness. So having one conversation of, hey, is this serious? Is this serious? Is this how it's going to go? Because I don't want to play house. That was my biggest thing with Wyatt. It's like, I'm not moving in and playing and pretending that we're together and not end up with a ring on my hand. I don't get comfortable.
That's fair.
So if you're planning on moving in, living with each other, splitting potentially bills, being on a lease together or something, I think that serves for the right to have a sit down talk where you guys really talk about it, maybe map out what an ideal plan would be, or like, hey, I would really love to be engaged within our lease because this is important to me. And if not, we need to have another discussion.
But see, that's why it's so funny, because you just heard what I said and you heard what she said, and we didn't solve anything for you, because I'm thinking probably exactly what your husband thinking, and she's thinking, boyfriend, and she's thinking exactly what you are. And I just said the opposite of her.
But when we did talk about it though, you straight up then told me, hey, this is like really frustrating for me. Can we stop talking about it? But I wouldn't have known that it was annoying for you until we had that conversation.
To be fair, I guess you're right. You have to kind of
you just have to
the boundary
push it
a little bit just to force an answer. And if it pisses him off, that's one thing. But it's like, at the end of the day, she got to a point where she wanted to know. And when I told her, I was like, listen, I just got this first job. I understand what I'm going to be making, but like, give me like 3 paychecks. Like, let me understand how my day-to-day is going to work.
And it was, you used one of your first paychecks, wasn't it?
It was like my second. It was by my third paycheck, I was then buying the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, just threw away basically a year working. Not really.
Yeah. So sorry. Hope that helps.
Yeah, right.
I've been in a long distance relationship with my boyfriend since May, and the whole time we've planned for me to move in with him when my lease ends in July, which is 2,700 miles from where I live and my family. I recently had a mental breakdown and felt extremely guilty and unsure if I want to live that far away from my parents for the rest of my life. I love him so much and where he lives, and have also always seen a future with him since we started dating, but I'm also having a hard time imagining raising my kids that far from where I call home. I'm scared I'm overthinking it because I'm excited for the opportunity, but lately it's just been getting me extremely sad. His family is close by, which is helpful. It just doesn't feel the same since it's not my mom and dad. Sincerely, a girl who doesn't know if her umbilical cord is still attached to her mom. That's funny.
I mean, first thought, you're not overthinking it. All of what you're thinking for a reason.
Yeah,
it's not an easy
even
decision.
When you're getting married, you're like, should I be getting married? Yeah, it's not like it's normal to overthink.
Like, holy shit, I'm getting married.
Yeah, it's a big decision. To move is a big decision.
Wait, their long distance relationship?
2,700 miles. She is moving away from her family.
Where the fuck do you live, dude?
Planning, and she also used the verbiage, planning to live the rest of my life. So here's my first thought. Why the rest of your life?
Yeah, what?
First off, because I thought we were going to live in Columbus for the rest of our lives.
We were totally ready to.
Dead
Columbus
set.
is awesome.
And here we are. We're back by my family, like back in Michigan. So with that, I would encourage you to take the leap off the bat. Go, leave your family. You don't have kids right now, so don't worry about it right now. Enjoy your adult life. When you become pregnant, even then, you have about 10 months to fucking figure out what the hell you're going to do.
Yeah, but
granted, you have to change prenatal care or whatever, but still, when that time even comes, it just don't worry about what isn't even there yet.
Yes.
Go enjoy the opportunity to explore. You might get there and also realize this person isn't the one, and then you move back home. You can always go back home.
I
stand by that.
I think that's probably the best advice is like, you don't have the issue yet, so don't worry about it. You guys could be 5 years from having a kid for all you know. And yes, moving across country, 2,700 miles. Holy shit.
Yeah. Where the fuck?
I don't know.
Like, is that even how big the nation is?
I mean, it's definitely, that sounds coast to coast because 1,000 miles is like Michigan, Ohio to Florida. So you're cross country for sure. But I'll keep talking while you look that up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think my perspective on that is, how long have you guys been together? Did she say that? I don't think she did, right? Either way, my factors are, how long have you guys been together? To move that far is pretty fucking far. Now, if you guys, again, are really into each other, you really are feeling like you're the one, I'm kind of with Des in the sense of like, you're not going to lose anything by trying. Like that was us moving to Florida.
Coast to coast is like 2,800 miles, 2,700 miles.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, so it's got to be a pretty crazy move.
Yeah, so for example, let's put it this way. Not to kind of shoot you down a little bit, but I had a good friend of mine, he had a girlfriend for a couple months that used to live in Michigan. She moved to Arizona for no reason. There was zero family down there.
Just a goal of hers.
Just loves being in Arizona. And it got to a point in their relationship where like either she's going to move back to Michigan where all of her family is, or she's going to continue living her dream of living in Phoenix or Arizona or wherever it was. But they ended up actually having to break it off because he's like, I can't. I have family business that I'm obligated to because he's got, some pecking order down the line that he hopefully can take it over. So he can't leave the location. And they went back and forth and she stayed with nothing.
Yeah.
So, to each their own. I only say that in the sense of like perspective that it really just depends what you honestly want. And at the end of the day, it's the same kind of thinking of her of if you were just say fuck it and go. You don't have the issue of kids yet, so just go. And
you can always come home.
But
even if you have to live with your parents for a couple months to save money when you return back, so all you had was money for a flight. It's like you can always do it.
Yeah.
We went on a 2-hour walk in Florida. I'll never forget. 2-hour walk, decided we were going to fucking move, booked a U-Haul that night and left 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
From Florida all the way back to Ohio.
Yep.
Sometimes you just got to do it.
Sometimes you just know. If it's something that's really pulling at you, do it.
I would encourage you to do it. See how it is. And if you find yourself booking reoccurring flights to go even see your family, it's like maybe second guess it. But I think you would get there and also experience a different part of life. You would grow from it and enjoy.
Especially if you're young. If you're young 20s, mid 20s, in your 20s.
Oh, man, yeah. Do it.
You're not hurting anything. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to explore a lot. I think it'd be good.
Yeah. Okay, this is a long one. I have been begging for this because I have the most insane situation.
Wow.
So my best friend lives 10 hours away. Her and her husband both finished their contracts for their jobs, so they wanted to move. I joked, kind of kidding, kind of not, that they should move to the state I live in. They actually agreed, and a month later came up here. I allowed them to stay in my house with me, my kids, my husband, and my dog until they found a place. But wait, that means them and their 3 dogs and 2 kids. I'm sorry, 3 kids and 2 dogs. Fine, I love them. I can handle a packed house for a month. Wrong. In 1 month, my, quote, best friend and her husband and kids broke my Montessori jungle gym for my toddlers that I got the week they moved in. It was brand new. Got slime on my couch that was less than 6 months old. Her husband got so drunk he peed in the bed they were staying in. And 2 weeks later, peed on our couch. Their dogs jumped on our screen, so every screen is ripped open, and we can't open our windows without getting bugs now. Their dogs would pee all over our floors. They'd leave vape and weed pens all over my house where my kids could reach them. They're 1 and 2. It was a fucking mess. Just complete disrespect for me, my house, and my family. They left their 2.5-year-old son alone in my house while they went to the bar and didn't tell us. Their son woke up screaming, running around my house, and that's how my husband and I discovered they just left him here without telling us or asking us to watch him or listen if he woke up. They didn't come home for 2 hours after we called to tell them. We never asked them for a single penny while staying here. We finally said they had to go, but they hadn't fixed anything. This happened 6 months ago, and now the weather is getting nice. I'm going to have to pay for these screens myself. I've ran into the husband, and him and I are friendly. He even wished my kid a happy birthday the other week. Overall, they caused $1,000 plus worth of damage. Do I ask the husband to pay? Do I leave it? I cut ties with my best friend because she clearly wasn't much of a friend at that point, but it's also triggering to me to have to pay for everything myself after opening my home to them. It was legitimately like having barnyard animals in my house. What if they refuse? Do I hire a lawyer? Am I crazy for even considering this? My husband says to cut our losses because he doesn't want to communicate with them, but that's not sitting right with me to do that either. Sincerely, a doormat that's tired of being walked over.
Yeah, that's first off, just
holy, that is
terrible people. Like, I'm just gonna say it straight up, that's awful. That's
my God.
Like, to have zero,
and it was your
friend. Like, I couldn't imagine having a friend like that. And I'm not saying like, I wouldn't put myself in that position. I'm just saying the friends I have, if I was in that position, they live with me, no shot
you would see them so differently.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's awful. My first thought is it's worth saying something, like, for sure. But part of my worry is it comes off that you never said anything the whole time.
Yeah.
While you might have, but for you to be contemplating this and wondering if you should say something, and you ran into the husband that you're still friendly with and didn't have a bad conversation, that just goes to show that you didn't care enough to bring it up to them, so they don't even think anything's wrong. Yeah. So that's the issue that you're now in. And if that is what the situation is, your husband is spot on. You cut your losses, you learned, and you cut your losses, you move on.
It's a hard fucking lesson. I mean, we've all been there. We've learned hard lessons one way or another.
Because at that point, if you reach out to them and ask for them to pay, like, you're just now opening up another conversation,
floodgate,
and just it's going to be emotional, and people are going to get pissed off.
We never asked for this. You opened up your home. You were it'll just get messy.
It'll get worse.
And especially when you got kids involved, and maybe now also, what if they go to the same school? What if it's like, don't need it.
Yeah, if they go to the same school, then you put water under the bridge.
Or would go to the same school. Not worth it.
It's just, no, I don't think it's worth it.
I think at that point, you just got to say, fucking go to therapy. Bitch at your therapist about it.
Have the therapist tell you.
Journal about it. Be pissed. And again, you learned your lesson, and you just have to know that you're in the better direction without them as a friend. It's also hard losing friends, especially a couple, because that's hard to have a couple who also has kids who like gets it. You get me, I get you. That's hard to also say goodbye to a friendship.
You definitely don't get them if they're leaving their kid.
Yeah, that's fucked.
What?
The way I would call CPS on them, like, could you even do that?
Yeah.
That's fucked.
100% you could.
That's wild. Like, what? Okay, hear me out. What if that 2.5-year-old would have walked out your fucking front door on your watch?
Yeah, then you're liable. No, actually you're not. But still, you feel guilty and liable the rest of your life. So yeah, again, it's like, that's like you live with that. That's serious. That they left you with. So yeah, pieces of shit people. I would definitely recommend cutting off any communication with the husband then. If you're actually pissed about it, you should not be friendly with the guy.
Unless you just want to maintain, again, say that your kids go to the same school in the future, you just want to maintain, hey, How you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah.
Hope all's well. See you later.
Do not talk. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I think it's water under the bridge. It's a lesson learned.
That sucks. You have to pay for all that, but it is what it is.
It's not worth the I can tell you from this past year of our lives and some of the stuff we've had to work through, business, personal, it's better to just end the conversations knowing you were the better, or you did the best you can. Not even you were the better person.
You did exactly what you could.
You did what was right for you, and you stand by that, and you know you did it. Live it with it and move on. It's like we're
all living our own realities anyway. Best of luck to them. Best of luck to you. You know.
Yep.
My husband and I are having our first kiddo in September, and although we didn't try for it, we weren't preventing it either. I'm terrified of how much life.
For
real. I'm terrified of how much life is going to change, but no, we're going to make it work. What are some best first-time mom and dad tips, and what are some must-haves for our first kiddo? Sincerely, 29 and married, but I still feel like a teen mom. It's so real.
Yeah.
Anytime you find out you're pregnant, you're just like, am I old enough for this?
Yeah. Des actually said this all the time, which is hilarious.
Like, am I okay?
Yep.
Should I be doing this?
Yeah, right. No, I mean,
it happens. You figure it out.
You do.
You're never ready. Even the people who are trying to conceive, once you get that positive, you're not ready. You're like, holy fuck.
The people trying are excited, and versus you being a little bit more anxious maybe, but at the end of the day,
it still happens and you're like, fuck.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you guys are
in
the same boat. You're in the same boat.
Yeah.
You're expecting a kid.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. So yeah, I mean,
what would be my biggest tip, although the nursery and like getting all the new stuff, the stroller, is really fun.
Romanticize it.
But don't stress about getting it done before the baby's here.
Yeah, I would say that's a common misconception.
Yes, that is one thing. Like, this baby will not have a nursery until it's popped out. Not only because we don't know what it is, but I almost would rather enjoy it in the postpartum period, being able to put it together when I'm like skinny again and my fucking back doesn't hurt and my pelvis doesn't hurt and enjoy painting the room and putting together whatever, going shopping postpartum, getting out of the house. So just don't feel like don't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah.
You will have everything you need. I went to the hospital with no hospital bag, no fucking phone charger. All I had was my wallet and my cell phone, and I had a fucking baby, and I had what I needed. Yeah, that is a testimony to it doesn't fucking matter. You will figure it out, and it will come together.
Nobody's pregnancy's the same. Nobody's delivery is the same. All of it is so different to the sense of you just have to do whatever you got to do. Like whatever you feel like is the right move for you guys leading up to pregnancy to make you guys feel better, just do it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I would say my biggest tip is just as people be on the same page. That is like my biggest thing that I've told all of my friends I can't even say all my friends. One of my friends that's expecting a baby now this year, in the next couple months. My biggest advice is it's the best thing to ever happen to you and the toughest thing to ever happen. Like it is absolutely life-changing, but literally in the best way. In the best way. It is a life-changing. So the quicker you can accept that the old you is changing, is gone. Like you're not going to be able to do the same stuff all the time. But
you're not even wired the same.
But two, you and your husband being on the same page is going to be the most critical.
Yeah.
So I always tell my buddy, I was like, it's the best and toughest thing in the world, but at the end of the day, you are absolutely second in this relationship for the good first couple months, especially that first month.
First couple years. For the first year.
First year is tough.
Or especially if a mom is breastfeeding. Like if a mom is breastfeeding, it can prolong.
So I would just say, you guys need to get on the same page of like, okay, how can I best help you as the guy and as the wife? How can I communicate? How can I communicate what I need without us getting pissed off? Because imagine yourselves waking up on week 3, 20th day in the row at 3 a.m. and you're yelling at each other on who to take first. It's like that shit adds up.
You also have to have a sense of realizing a lot of stuff that you'll say to each other in those moments is like not
you're
real.
You're pissed off.
Like
you're just tired.
It's not you. It's like quite literally just my brain of just you are on fumes. So it's also learning to not take things so personally, but also still communicate. But if I wake up in the night and I look over and I'm like, Wyatt, can you get the fucking bottle? It's like, I'm not telling you, get the fucking bottle. I'm like, I want to cry. Get the fucking bottle. Like, so it's just context. And I personally, just a side note, like use the app Huckleberry. Absolutely love the Huckleberry app. Very easy for tracking things, but also don't feel like you have to put your baby on a schedule right away. Let the baby be a fucking baby. I have had the best experience with Archie, sleep, naps, etc. when I just let him fucking be a child and not tried to, okay, he has to go down by 11, has to do this, has to do that, has to do that.
It's good to do that when you need to.
If and when you need, like a bedtime routine, I think is still very important to start getting them into like, okay, this is our time, night, whatever. But if you have to go out, if you want to go get dinner with a friend, if you want to get out of the house, don't fucking worry about it being nap time. Don't worry about it cutting into something. Just you have to still live your life. And I promise they're like sponges. They'll figure it out too.
Yeah, no doubt. It is what it is.
You figure it out. That's all I can say to you. At the end of the day, you'll do it, and you'll do it well.
Don't overthink things is also the funny part. Is like
don't Google.
Yeah, we've
call
been
your
around,
fucking doctor.
We've been around some first-time parents, and it's just
like, were
funny.
we like that?
Yeah,
totally
right,
were.
Literally, and it's like I remember us thinking like, were we like that? Did we sound like that? And it's like we definitely did. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's gonna be what it is. Like that's the funny thing is you're a first-time parent. You're gonna have the first-time parent thoughts. You're gonna have the first-time parent anxiety until you start to get comfortable and realize, okay, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
Right. And my cousin said a funny thing. She was like, did you and Des like hate each other for the first year? Because like I just looked at my husband and I was like, oh my God, you're so hot. What happened? Like I forgot about you. Mm-hmm. It's like, yes, that is what it is. Your relationship absolutely takes a fucking pause for that first year.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, tough. We have fun together. That's crazy.
I like you. Yeah, it's like it is weird, but again, that comes from just trying to be the best people for each other, not taking things too seriously, not taking it too personally.
Also knowing like we have so much life. You sent me that TikTok by Christina the other day, and it was like, hey moms, if you're in the trenches, like I just cleaned out drawers that I haven't been able to in 4 years. Just know
years 1 to 4.
Like, yeah, you will get yourself back soon. You will have time to be someone outside of just mom, blah, blah, blah. And so,
because we're in it. Like,
yeah, you're like in it.
I am only a parent.
Yeah.
People talk
but
about
one
it.
day we like literally won't be like, especially when they go to school and what are we going to do?
You're going to miss this
all fucking day. Yeah.
We're going to be like Jason Kelce retirement.
Yes. I'm going to be crying.
We're going to be
for
crying
20 out of 40 minutes of the day.
Thinking about the past 13 years or 18 and thinking, wow, what a blessing it was. So again,
you just got to sit in it.
Enjoy it.
Sit in the suck.
Romanticize it. Make it fun. Don't take it too seriously. Don't overthink it. There you go.
All right, two more good ones. My husband and I bought our house in November of last year. It's a bit of a fixer-upper with potential to be our dream home when it's all finished. That's so exciting. Would never have the time to fucking do that.
No.
Would never have the patience.
Very smart.
To be able to save money faster and complete renovations more quickly, my husband had the idea of renting a room to his sister. I was really unsure about it the whole time because it made me not as proud to be purchasing with our first home. We really didn't need help, but we were getting married the same year, so it felt like an invasion of privacy. However, I really loved the potential I saw in the house and agreed so we can move our projects along faster. It hasn't been the most fun to share our space, but we're making it work. Now, a year later, my sister-in-law has grown really attached of our 2 dogs. So much so that she got tattoos of their names and outlines of their ears. This is weirder than weird, right? My husband does think it's weird too, by the way. I do not have tattoos of my dogs, and they are my pride and joy. I didn't know this was happening until after the fact. I've already been on edge about her living in our house all year and haven't had the heart to have a real conversation with my husband about it. Both his parents passed away before he was 22, and his sister has helped him through a lot of adulthood. She's like the mom when he turns to when he has those questions that moms have answers to. But after this, I feel very uncomfortable around her, and just about everything she does gets on my nerves. How do I get out of this bad tenant situation without causing a rift in the family? Sincerely, an overwhelmed dog mom. That's fucking wild. Your sister-in-law, like not even your sister, or like we bought the dogs when we had our first apartment, like they're not even
the dog
hers.
thing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna glaze over that because it's just simply is weird. Like that's so weird. Like I would just glaze over it. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's like she is an important person in his life. She's obviously important in yours, whether she's on your nerves or not. She's gonna be there forever.
Funny.
So I would say the best thing to do, honestly, is just to have the conversation with your husband. Like, when is our timeline? Like, because we need to. It's like I get it. I understand. I'm not trying to overstep, but what's the timeline we are expecting? Because I'm sorry, and I'm actually not sorry, but I want to have our own house too, just us.
I would also...
That is not crazy to bring up to your husband, get a timeline, and then you can slowly start to plant the seed.
I would also, maybe you mentioned you're getting married this year, so maybe use that as a date of like, you can come to your husband, have this conversation, and then you guys can go to her and be like, hey...
Moved out before wedding.
Yep, just want to let you know, here's what's happening, here's our goals for our marriage. By the month of our wedding... We just want to make sure that you have an apartment. We'll help you look if we need to, extend the help because you are obviously gracious for her contributing her part so you can buy the house, whatever. But I would just candy wrap it. It doesn't have to be honest.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's probably
It doesn't have to be honest. You don't have to be honest. You don't have to you can lie. Not even lie. You can fabricate.
You're not even fabricating. You're just
You cannot go there.
You're skimming the top.
You cannot go there.
You're skimming the top. That's
all
you're
just getting rid of the foam.
You're just skimming. You're just like, hey, here's what's going on. You're skimming with a filter. You're filtering through the information to what she wants to hear. It's called a half truth. You filter in the information she wants to hear, but while you're getting some out. No, it's just you're just you're just not lying. That's
okay, glass half empty or half full. It's like you're half lying. You're really lying.
You're not lying though. You're just not sharing all of the information. That's it. That's
okay. You're right. That is half true. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're just not sharing all the information. You're just simply
that doesn't
saying,
need to be shared.
Hey, we have a wedding coming up, and we'd love to be able to have our space to ourselves.
We want to be able to fuck without you.
Yes, literally. But
make it weird. We want to be able to try some weird stuff, and I don't want you to hear it.
Yeah, my husband's wanting to hang.
Yeah, we're wanting to hang a kind of like you know how deers get splayed. That kind of similar.
Our sex
setup.
room. This was going to be our sex room.
We need our red room.
And it's going to go in your room. We really want our sex room to be where you sleep. So, yeah, just let me know when you can move out.
But we have contractors already coming in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just spruce it up.
Yeah, I would not overthink that one. That one's
But the tattoos are fucking wild. I will say after she is out of your presence, I do think things will and can return to normal. So have that faith too. It's like you'll be good. You'll be good. You'll maintain a good relationship. Just get her out.
But that's what I'm saying. Don't do anything to burn the bridge.
Yeah.
That's why you just have to talk to your husband first.
Just swallow your pride.
He'll know how to handle it better. Not because it's his sister.
Yeah. Okay, last one. First off, I fucking adore you. Quick backstory on me and why I'm writing in.
Thank you.
I am 4 months postpartum with my first and have been dealing with all the emotions from guilt to grief. Mom guilt hardcore over everything, and it's causing a lot of tension on myself and my relationship. Both my mom and dad passed away when I was in high school, and I found myself feeling guilty that my son won't have grandparents from me. Additionally, I was also able to call my mom. I wish I was able to call my mom for advice. I take all the advice to heart. If you were a mom, badass aunt, so hey, muscle mommy. Oh, she would take all my advice. Got it. Anyways, how do you deal with grief while battling postpartum guilt and anxiety? The other question I have is how to reconnect with your postpartum body. I feel so out of place, ugly, and disconnected with everything. This has terribly, terribly affected my marriage because I'm terrified of intimacy. Sincerely, a struggling mama that just needs some love. How would you support your wife, knowing that she lost both of her family, both of her parents? You have a first. She's struggling postpartum.
I mean, that's so tough. I mean, some of you probably saw my reactions, but I mean, that's just sad. It is because you feel like you're on an island. I mean, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, or even if you're just in the postpartum, what do they call it?
Sick of it? Postpartum?
No, the
postpartum depression.
No, like the work, paternity leave.
Oh.
Especially if you're in that and your husband's still working or he's back to working already and it's still just you. It's like, that's tough. I mean, it is really a tough situation to be in. So my only first thing that comes to mind to just put a blanket over it with a blanket statement is like, just don't be so hard on yourself. Parenting's not easy to begin with. I don't know. I mean this comfortingly. I don't want you to take it differently, but you're not the first and you're not going to be the last.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, your debt is to your children, right? And you're ultimately only going to be proud of anything you accomplish, overcome, and do when you see them continue to grow up and turn into a kid that you love to see, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, don't be too hard on yourself. You will figure it out. The kid will be fine. Just do your best and leave communication open. Where it's going to get bad is if you are holding all of this to yourself.
Yeah.
If you haven't brought this up to your husband, or even if it's been like, hey, your husband's checking in on you and you know he can tell something's wrong, but you haven't told him, it's like, again, that's going to be a huge issue too. So get something out, like just keep open communication. That's the biggest thing for me, at least, and how I work. It's like, I don't know how to help you if I don't know how you're feeling, right? Or I don't know how to act in a situation if I don't know your thoughts on the situation, right? So it's a tough situation that has no, honestly, silver bullet to it. So I would say seek support.
Go to therapy.
Find your friends. Find somebody that you connect with on this level and just have an outlet too. You know, it's tough to not have your parents, especially as a woman. I couldn't imagine. But definitely don't put the guilt on yourself for obviously your kid not having grandparents. Like, immortalize them in a great way, right? Like, these are who your parents were, or my parents were. You would have loved them. They would have loved you. You know, it's like,
definitely share those things with them.
The kid, you know, it's sad for you, obviously, to process that in any conversation. But the kid's always going to look at them as just these awesome people. Hype them up, dude. Have fun with it to an extent. You know, like, the kid's only going to remember them based on what you tell and show, right? So make them as good as they were in your mind to your kid, and your kid's going to believe that, right? So, I mean, it doesn't obviously fix everything, but if that was a piece
like,
you're
share
worried
the
about,
memories.
do that.
Share the memories, because it also keeps it fresh, like, in your mind, too, of what you had done with them and the small things they used to do for you as a kid and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't feel guilty. I mean, family is, what do they say? Family's thicker than blood, or like, what is that? Family can be thinner than water or something. No. My point is like, there's other people who can step up and be those great influences in their life outside of family.
Something runs thicker than blood.
That's whatever. So if you have really close friends who, you know, step in that role, or you know an older couple from church and they kind of step in that role, I don't know, I'm just making something up. It's like, there's a lot of influences that can still ring really great on your kid that you expose them to. So nothing will ever replace their grandparents. Again, speak their memories, share that with them, but also, you know, allow other people to come in and influence them in great ways too.
Yeah.
In terms of like the postpartum part, the body part, yeah, that is so hard. Intimacy was so hard after Maddox, specifically, because it was very traumatizing. So thinking of anything else going inside me was terrible. Like, it was, so, I remember our first time we had sex postpartum, I think I cried. Like, it was like not fun. And it was just hard to think of like something going in when whatever came out, you know, and you know, when I had to get checked and stuff. So, that was very hard, but I do remember I ended up voicing that to Wyatt at some point, and I shared that, and I remember him being like, I wish you would have explained that to me. Like, I didn't understand that. And so that was the biggest thing, is like, explain to your husband what you are going through. And, you know, it's never an excuse. It's so valid. You just, from what I'm understanding, you pushed something out 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And that you grew for 9 months. It's a fucking human child. You pushed out a head, in shoulders, in fucking legs, in feet, in hands.
And then you get zero break.
Yeah, and then you have to get up in the middle of the night and they feed from your titty. Like, it's not a joke. So
it's not glamorous, and it's not taken lightly. Like, it's legitimately tough. And it again, like,
you just got to sit in the suck with that. And also, when it comes to like your physical self too, you do have to still put that first. So find a way to find movement in your day. I'm not saying you got to work out. I'm not saying you got to do a circuit workout. I'm not saying you got to go to the Stairmaster. I'm not, you know, whatever. Find movement in your day.
Yeah, you got
that alone will help. And as you start putting yourself first, that's literally science. By the time you start doing that and then establishing a new routine, it creates a routine at home. Like, that's what I love most about my day when I go work out. It's like, I know I have that hour to hour and a half where I am only doing this and I'm only responsible for this. And then this makes me feel good. And I sweat and I feel great and I move.
I'm telling you.
It's movement is medicine.
It is.
So
my biggest, if you want your body back or you're fighting with that, the only advice I can give, because obviously I'm not a woman and I haven't given birth and I never will.
Thank you for validating that.
But I can say that, yes, movement, even for me, it's like dads go through shit too, because
for sure
we don't want to overstep, but because of that creates our own guilty conscience of like, am I doing enough? Am I helping? Am I being a man of the house? X, Y, Z. So your man's also going through stuff. I'm not dismissing your stuff at all, but it's the idea of just knowing that the man can help, but also knowing that from my perspective, it was helpful for me to move. It was helpful for me to be my best self by staying in exercise and staying in a health regimen, because it gave me something to look towards that didn't let me just stay in tunnel vision of what's actually going on in my life, right? It almost just let you escape for that little bit. So I know for Des's sister, she didn't work out. She never really has worked out a lot, but she naturally has a skinny, tiny frame. And I know she battled a shit ton with her postpartum body.
Oh my God, yeah. She got
crazy.
She got big after Mila.
And
just like didn't understand what,
for somebody that doesn't work out and doesn't really move like that, other than, you know, walking around the house and being
active with her kids.
But outside of that, like, she did eventually lose the weight. It just happened. So part of that is me saying, yes, move, but also don't try to
honor
set a
yourself.
goal to be what you want to be in a month. Like, give yourself a full year of just every day trying to make a healthy, conscious choice in some way, food or exercise. Then you will eventually get there, hopefully, to where you want to be. And if not, that's when it comes down to just pushing yourself.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes both ways are hard. Yeah. Right. So choose your hard.
I did my first 6-week challenge at about 14 weeks postpartum. Like, that was really my first challenge back with DBFT. And I lost a ton of, I really only lost like 10 pounds, but I lost like 20 inches like in total off my body.
So much fluid.
And so much. And again, that was at 4 months. You know, you're thinking, oh my God, the kid's already been out for 4 months. Why don't I look normal? It takes fucking time. It takes dedication. It still takes awareness. And it just takes time. So know that your body's not going to be recognizable for a while. It's going to feel weird, even just in general. It has a different purpose now, you know? It's not just you. And I think that's really hard too, is realizing like you're going to be groped consentfully. You're going to be climbed on. You're going to be fucking punched in the face. You're going to be roundhoused. You're going to, like, your body, you're going to be, just climbed on. Your body isn't yours anymore. You got a mom bod. Literally, it doesn't even have to be like physically you know, it's just,
by the way, for a reason. Like, you don't gain weight on accident.
As your body,
you know, it's like you're supposed to have this weight because the amount of calories you burn breastfeeding and how much that takes out of you. There's a reason you hold on to weight after pregnancy, is because you need it.
Well, and you're not even fucking sleeping through the night yet. Like, your body needs fumes. Like,
your body's fucked.
It can't run on fumes. So
therefore, your mentality, obviously, I mean, not mentality in that way, I don't mean it that way, but obviously that affects how you think about things is the better way to put it. So that's when I say, don't be so hard on yourself, because you're not the first, you're not the last, you're in a tough situation, but at the end of the day, your body is going through shit every day, to where there's no way in hell that you could tell yourself that your brain is also working perfectly. It's not possible. So that's why you got to give yourself grace. Let your bad days just be bad days, right? Everybody says it's cliche, but I haven't understood what that meant until parenthood, which is funny because hopefully maybe that's a lesson that can help you, not hurt you, in the sense of just like, it's gonna suck and you have to learn how to deal with it. And you can only make it better by choosing to be better. It's a weird thing, but you just can't let bad days continue into bad weeks. That's just what I've learned. Like, you just have to let a bad situation, kind of like what we were talking about with, like getting pissed off at each other in the middle of the night with a baby. It's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just fucking tired.
Just let it be.
Right? So
let
just
you yourself be tired.
Let it be what it is, and it's fine. So, it sucks. But again, not the first, not the last. You can do it. I know you can. And
you'll do great.
You're going to know when you see your kid grow up and see how nice it is when they are respectable and doing what you want and being a kid in your house. You're going to be proud of yourself no matter what. So
there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
Yay. Cool. Any last remarks? This is probably your last podcast in here.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know. It's crazy.
I know.
Last remark is, I definitely like doing this. It is fun. So let us know what type of shows you would like to see out of us.
I know. I guess that's where I wonder what our flow would be. Like, do we talk topics? Do we just do advice?
Because is fun. It is fun. We can talk. I tell you what, that is one thing about us is we talk. And by the way, we talk like this about Love is Blind or Masters of the Air.
We'll just be sitting in bed.
Watching, we will so talk through about how amazing things are. We're so thoughtful.
We are so thoughtful.
It's so dumb. But
even when we eat our food, we're like, God, that bite, just
so
the balance.
I love this part of it.
It's so
just how it
stupid.
works. I know.
So funny.
We're very much like that. So let us know because we can talk about pretty much anything.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being in this era. We started in our guest room and then we got down here and now I don't even know where we're going to be recording, but we are going to make it work. Yeah, we'll figure it out. The beautiful thing is, guess what? Vlog style. Figure it the fuck out. Yep. Like I said, we sat in the middle of our guest room for multiple episodes.
Oh, I know what we could do. In the office space, like up against the window, we could set up a spot. I mean, the window would be right behind us, so maybe we'd have to get drapes, but still, it's an idea.
Get a backdrop or something. Yeah. Anyways, we hope you guys have a beautiful, merry, amazing Sunday. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Better things to come. We're waving at the camera, but the camera died.
Can't see us, but I'm waving.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, ta-ta for now.